No, that's fine. We're missing 3. Yeah, that's 3. That was one. And this is being recorded, video and audio. Yeah.
All right, so here we are, the first budget section, 2024 to 2025 budget. Some of you have been here before and seen this, understand it. But hasn't been fairly quickly. Operate from this budget schedule that you all have. We absolutely stop by 9 o'clock. We get to the point where fairly close to 9 o'clock. We can't fit one of the ones scheduled for tonight in prior to 9 o'clock. That will then move to the meeting date. Okay. So each department head will look to come up and make their presentation for you. It's been suggested that we move the order for the night in the library up earlier because she has the distance travel after this. But I think that's unfair to her in a way that she's not her. So as a result, the first one up is me. I will do that. Then we'll move library up prior to clerk, and we'll follow the clerk. So I am here under town manager, and we'll get back. Standard rules are all the aspects of it. Standard rules are we do not discuss it in the yes. Melissa is right. You must be among each other, select chair, vice chair. So, nominations for chair. That's second. Okay. Any other nominations? Then those in favor, like to be opposed to that.
Yeah.
So then you are the chair. I suggest you then shift at the table and call for a nomination for vice chair. Okay. I move to the other side. I move to entertain a motion for vice chair. I would like to. You, David? Oh, you Second? Close nomination? Vote. We have our. Good. So now, back to where I was going, which is the town manager budget. And, we have the proposed budget for it. I hope this year will operate by the system we have the last couple of years, whereby instead of voting on every single line, raise questions over lines that you have questions over, or move that way a little more rapid. So within this budget, I've outlined your questions over.
I have questions in general. Realizing that there are wondering if there's been any steps made in higher budgets. My first year on the market, I did not research and understand equitable market. Have there been budget last 1 to 2 years?
We've done, for a number of the last few years, for the non-union, some across the board percentage increase. And I was prepared to propose this year that be a 6% increase. However, I clearly heard from council, they want to see this be a merit increase as opposed to a cost of living increase. So here in this process, we will bring you in the money for the increase. We've done this across the board. We want some per budget that will take out next year, not showing the wages, the requested wages in this budget. So now I'm imagining we will see the amount we use for merit wages, imagining that will go out in pieces to department heads, they will review all the work under them, and then make some sort of a suggestion. Are we keeping up with the market? No. That is clear in many things, but then there is the definition of what is the market. Clear that the wage rate market in Bangor is different than it is in Bangor South. So we're in a different market, but the fact is, they use the rate back to one of them. So where are we? When I was reviewed by the council months ago, my annual review, they took a, say this wrong, but they took from Maine Municipal a review of manager wages in the state of Maine. They took years, population, and produced a number for me at 80% of what the years population was statewide. I'm good with that. I know we're north of Bangor. I get that. Thinking more broadly than just what we're looking at the moment. Our wages hurting our attempts to recruit people in the police department. Absolutely. Our wages hurting us. Hiring the higher medical license PMTs, the ambulance service, yes. But particularly the police statewide for the last 4 or 5 years, nothing but a race to the top. Municipalities are feeding each other, one or the other, and as we increase, then next quarter was increased, etc. So I have heard a number of managers speak recently about police wages saying we have to stop this. Somehow we have to stop this race upward. I reckon we're going to propose how to do that. But that is there. So are we suffering with that? Yes. Are we suffering with it with non-union people who work in this building? Absolutely. But maybe this merit wage, merit increase will help us. That seems to go ahead this year. That's 16 pounds.
The supervisor
last year we did. My thought, now you're asking my overall thought on the entire budget, not just personnel. I think we haven't caught up with inflation because we only can catch up once a year. I don't think 14 months ago, we yet fully understood where we were going. It made sense where we were going, but I don't think we really understood it. So we are behind on some things. This budget that's put in by the various department heads will attempt to catch up to where we are today. But I think, my opinion, I think we will see inflation at higher than 2% rate, maybe higher than 3% rate for another year. But of course, that's pretty average in of itself. So have we moved these budgets up to reflect that idea? Well, I see some of it as things that haven't landed with us yet. Well, we have suppliers who are still increasing based on, I guess we'll call it inflation, but they're increasing at any rate. And so, whether we call that inflation or something else, those increases continue to come in, and some of the department heads have not been able to price things reflection of the increases that are taking place and it is taking place over the next number of months. So we'll get it with each department. I'm curious. You alluded to being called into. They haven't been. About this coming. That's because we didn't hold money back last year. It's not landing. But we're seeing municipalities, truly, on the southern part of the state, or some of them county, who wage increases are well above 2.2. That's the market we have to compete in. That's exactly right. It's the market. Yes. They compete. I think we're trying to, yes. Are we giving the absolute best? Can't tell because I don't know who the non-applicants are. But we seem to be doing reasonably well, but not 100%. Now, do you find that the merit process is going to make our employees more competitive? Opportunity in the market? I think so, but that will be somewhat dependent on the department heads. They will review the report under them, and they will bring to me their proposals regarding the various issues. In that case, do we have a base salary which can work on a merit increase and what the criteria for that may be? First of all, the base for the various employees is what they're being paid now, and that's spread over a spectrum. And secondly, the budget committee doesn't go on. No, I understand. I understand how we understand. A foundation, like in the military, you have the ranks and then the ranks. Non-unionized, this is not like that. Unionized, the contracts themselves, and they're basically 1 year old. So, no, I understand. I think our interest is to make sure that we're in position to earn quality, retain quality people, not be competing with all the ones around. Certainly, place now speaking about merit-based, I've been oh, union will not be, they will not, they are strictly as per contract.
Now, is this totally your salary? Is it some of this money?
I know we take a certain on salary. How are they doing it? That's now, I don't want to discredit your, by any means, 0.71%. And I think the main municipal association, I think they have it wrong because every town and city is different. Because big reason, for instance, or Camden, they have manufacturing, but we have Lincoln, just the top. Wasn't the municipality we go south of that. We have a lot of people in this town that's working jobs, 4 jobs, which start making $35,000 a year. So if we're gonna go merit based, factor on this, I think it ought to start home. And no disrespect, by no means, but that's a very lucrative thing. And that probably, if you take a third of the population in this town, only make 4. You know, so, I understand that. So I, just like other employees, my wage is not really stuck with me. However, I'm not opposed on that in some degree. The merit pay that comes now, none will come to me because the council, in my review, in February, set the rate. And again, they set the rate based on what MMA showed for municipal manager and mayor in a community of this size and at 80% of MMA. So that is fine, great, but this community at the department request, that shows me that that request is going to, as yes, in my world, that looks because once I never, not too many people can say, well, I expect that so many a rate, you know, so I can't justify. Again, council did what they did in February, and it's not really subject to this. But we move forward and put 20,000 in FYI. The way but you can't do that. We can't move. Make recommendations. Special record. Again, the council will have to make a decision. Right.
And everything that's working on time, all over.
Can I just point out that all the wages in here are the current wages for the employees? They're based on last year's 6% increase, which is why you're seeing it across the board that they're all right. So these are currently what the employees are earning. This is not trying to request an increase from the department. So these are current earnings.
So FY 24.
Correct.
And the department request.
No, the FY 24 approved is what they were making last year. As Rick said, the increase for the non-union is in one of my budgets, it's in the personnel budget under, actually, I don't think I printed that one for you guys yet, because it's a work in progress as these things change. So I take from that personnel budget in the FY 24 and put the extra 6% into all those separate departments where they have the employees that get that. So when the department managers are putting this together, it is their current wages, nothing to do with any increase yet. That merit increase is going to be in my personnel budget. It'll be a lump sum that will then, as Rick said, the department managers will determine what increase each employee gets. This is what they're currently getting. This is not what they're going to get for fiscal year 25.
Do I understand?
Last year's number would have been based on what they were making last year. The department request would be what they are currently being paid.
Okay.
which across the board was a 6% for the non-union last year.
So that, what are we, what are we?
We're not discussing any of the wages.
We're discussing this with the next meeting. So, relevant.
Okay. That's my question.
That's just. Yeah.
And that, and honestly, that is just really understanding.
Yes, yes, because you haven't done this process.
That's important for those of us to review.
Yeah.
Yes,
So we're really, we're not really discussing it.
not for wages.
Okay. Or anything.
It's an offset that we did last year.
Yes, it is in the department request, but if you're looking at last year's numbers, so if you were to turn to like the clerks, last year's approved numbers were 184,611. That was before that 6% was added into her budget, because that 6% was in the personnel as a lump sum. There was a large amount in the personnel budget, and that has been piecemealed out to each of the departments, 6% for each of their employees that they have.
So if we go to that. How much is it?
There's nothing in there yet, because it is still, as of Friday is when I got the information from the council, or from Rick, about the council wanting to do a merit-based versus a straight across the board rate. So the personnel budget I will have for you either the next meeting or the meeting after. That'll be one of the last budgets we'll cover.
As we move forward.
That is what they're currently making. Correct.
Personnel is currently scheduled to make.
Who are you looking, which department are you looking at?
If I look at any of them, honestly, if any of them that were on the.
Well, that's what department I'm asking. Are you looking at clerk?
Yeah.
She's added a person. Yeah. Yeah, she added a person. But we can get to that when we get to those departments, yes.
So that's,
So there are anomalies, but
that is,
yes,
I'm not sure.
I've already corrected that. After I printed these and I saw them, I corrected that.
Going back to the merit pay. If I understood correctly, each department head will get a lump sum, and this person decides what each employee.
They will suggest, and they and I will discuss.
Okay. So you're prepared for the complaints of those.
I don't know if I'm prepared, but I fully expect that. Okay, so. First thing we'll say, all employees is, why don't you just keep what you were paid to yourself? And they will, if they answer yes and no, and then an hour.
I've been here 16 years, and it's the first time that it's been done this way, so it is going to be new and different for everybody.
Yeah, it's been an interesting exercise, but I think it's the right way to approach. Here. Print. 35,000, and then the department request is 5,000. Why such a drastic change in rent?
Your formula stuff. You didn't do a formula.
I usually do.
No. When this went in, you didn't do 12 months times.
Yes.
That's an error.
2,500 months. Yes.
That is an error, and
It's terrible.
so we are we not essentially no, I think when I read the budget, there's no real increase. That's how much.
There is no, it's sort of free.
That's an old note, well, it is now, that would be correct.
Okay.
The note and the number.
Better go to work.
You want it. Increase.
Well, I can, we effectively have not had anything, not budgeted anything to do maintenance here, so now we are attempting to do that pretty limited, but it's something, there's something. That provided by the window. Outside, yes, inside, only if there's one. Furniture, that's on us. That's like last year, 5,000. Actually, we have the most expensive that, so.
Currently, haven't spent much on that this year, but if you look at the maintenance line underneath that, we've actually overspent the maintenance line to do that. No, that's unexpended.
Why can't we reduce the budget by that?
Yeah. Ordinary supplies, well, it's not clerical thing, but it's the expendable things that people use. For the ones that balance goes to undesignated reserve. It's not set aside for a particular thing, but the undesignated, when we underspend the total budget, does provide a fund that the council uses periodically when there is something that comes in above what we estimated budget and or sometimes some form of special. So, it doesn't stay reserved for that thing. Undesignated. Today.
Right, but we still have 3 months. Yeah. We're under, the last page of that report I gave you, turn it over, right at the bottom line. That unexpended, the 2,826,000, yeah, of a budget of 9 million. 2 months left, that's probably gonna be down to maybe 300,000 or 400,000 by the end of the fiscal year. There's not gonna be a lot left.
So you're saying we spend $1 million
A month, yes, definitely.
to look at $12 million?
Nope. A lot of this is, school payments and such like that. Paving, Dennis usually waits until the end of, he has to wait till spring to start his paving project. We've got Main Street going on out here right now. That's part of the paving money that's gonna go. But you have the large projects. If you look at the paving line, we still have $869,000 in that.
balance, whatever you better, the money's already committed. You need, we should have, you know, it's been committed, then if there's anything you have that savings, a separate number. But here, it looks nice, but then it goes away, you say you're gonna pay that, which is okay. But I think it will
Well,
give us
I
more clarity.
can't commit it until we have an invoice from the paving company. I mean, I can't commit.
We have a contract for Main Street, for both street and the sidewalk, both are being done through Main DOT. And I am disappointed to learn, but I have learned, that the numbers, the fixed numbers for that, there are many exceptions, as they dig out here, they're digging up things that were not in the ground, that they find them, that they have the PFE, to look at some of the things they found, they had to do things they never projected they would do, thus the price of it.
Understand. Unforeseen requirements.
We've gone through a bunch of those already.
And payroll each week, is quite large, especially when you're dealing with the police and the fire payroll. I mean, we've got a lot of employees there. So, I believe it's around 90,000. Yeah. And some weeks are more, depend on what's going on. If we have fire calls and you have, you know, people out sick, which we currently do, it just drives that payroll up because people are on overtime at that point covering it.
Totally.
I don't have a total right now. We're working on audits and getting caught up on the audits.
Last year,
I don't believe that.
I don't think it's that
No.
much, but you can determine.
Which is Thursday, maybe not.
We've got a meeting and meeting up.
Have you paid for anything?
Yes, but that's not good practice. You should have ordinary consumables and wages in the budget. But the budget is constructed, in most places, such that if some department has some extraordinary overrun, it's gotta come from somewhere.
Auditors like you to have between, I believe ours is 25% of our overall budget in your unassigned fund balance.
You said 12%, 2 years ago, the auditors might want something more than 15%. For all municipalities, to carry it up there. Operating with states.
The other thing with having that amount of money in our undesignated allows us to operate the first couple months of the fiscal year because we don't collect taxes until November. So you really have very little cash flow coming in before November, and it's hard to make payroll if you don't have that undesignated fund sitting there to work off of for the first part of the year.
Well, we still have doctors.
What do you want for documents? I can print those off, yes, I have access to all. If you want one of these for the last couple of fiscal years, I can do that. Yep.
Back. Last 10 years.
I can, but just knowing that inflation has, killed us since COVID, I don't think going back further beyond 2020 or 2021 is much of an indication. I know budgets have skyrocketed in the last few years, and cost of everything has gone up.
You know, I understand that, but I know I was in town 18.5 years ago, the budget was 2.7 million. What it is today, which is crazy. And I'm a firm believer that you have to show up community that's striving and doing their best to pay the taxes.
One of the things that will make the earlier budgets not comparable is that last year's union more expensive what is before them. And the fire EMS one, is radically more stuff, because we have gone from having 4 full-time people over there at 16. Now that, there's a couple factors. One, we are running the annual, where that income, people can go look, $800 ride an ambulance, we must be getting rich. That isn't close. But, ignoring that detail, the council accepted the request last year, to go from 56-hour work to 2-hour work. Made us increase the number of people there to maintain the same level of service by 33%. So that's a pretty substantial increase. And they got a small, slight pay increase at the same time.
What was the criteria?
I'll give you more history than you want. There was a time in this country that full-time fire people weren't doing EMS, worked 100 hours a week. It became rather normal nationwide, like 56 hours, that's simple math, 160-hour week divided by 3 crews, hours each. Federal government, for reasons we don't understand, agree to that, so they made anything at 50 hours. And the overtime, 53, not that far off. However, a wave began 20 years ago. Firefighters all over the country said to councils, you work 40 hours a week, we work 56, this is unfair. So they said that, and a wave of going to 42-hour work weeks, just moved up the East Coast, they actually skipped over us, but the Brewster County, everybody was doing it, and then the council realized that everyone was doing it, and that was a factor in our difficult ability to hire people in that department. They were just going to work.
I'm assuming that they're rate of pay from the state.
No, they have to wait if they went up.
No, I mean, they work our salary.
They are being paid for 42 hours more than in Connecticut, because the way it's started now, the more than 37 hours. Not here. Overall, it'll be years before the 37 hours. I don't think it's going to be. But again, how many more?
I know in the past, my sister was an opponent to, put out the communities and share, police, share fire. Why has that not worked? Because each town wants their separate identity. They may not have the best of everything.
Well, there could be some of that, but many of them don't wish to pay. As you know, Lincoln Fire and EMS is the primary responder for those services to Chester. Now, as of Wynn's town meeting last month, we are now the primary responder, and they have paid us a contract fee for Wynn. We're available to do that with a few others, and it's pointless to do it with ones over 40 miles away. The service we provide would be terrible. But that is happening, and we are available to do that. It's been a bit of a battle, and people who are unhappy to hear reality. Many of these towns say they have a fire department, so they want to operate under a mutual aid scheme with us. But I won't name names at the moment, but there are some very near us. Well, yes, they have a fire department. They have 4 people. The main law, you can't go to work in fire without 4. So in other words, they don't have it. So how can they then trade us back and forth even? They can't. So we've been telling this to these towns, and I'm happy to hear it. They told us to win. Well, a year ago, one of the select persons there at that time said, well, we're gonna burn down 3 or 4 houses and we'll be back. Well, let's burn down the 3 or 4 houses and they are. This is a very difficult, bitter thing to swallow for these towns. You may have read where Howland is attempting to form a regional fire district. The towns just south of here, they're working at it. I and Les Brown went to the first couple of meetings they held now a year and a half ago, and they said we'll be having this up and running in July, January, up and running in July. Well, now they're hoping it might make it to July of this year, but it really might be July of the year later, and they haven't yet fully faced those little towns. Here's the entity we built it, it costs X, however you parcel out the cost. We have a formula we use here, we use the Chester, same formula. But they're gonna have to make up a formula, and I suggest that some of those little towns will not be. So,
Going from, in the interest of time, I think in order to keep on track, last year. Take each part of
when they came up, yes.
when they came up, if we got on a question, we can ask comments and what we when we get to the fire and we know it will be
You're right.
first having the town manager here or all of it.
That's such, but I'll be here at each meeting.
So I understand. Right now, you're at the beginning, so there are plenty of time, but I agree with you. So, in terms of the town manager's budget request, any other comments, suggestions? We can't comment on the link. No. Those in favor? I would like to go on. Yes, so that's very important. Yes, council. So next is town clerk.
I would like to change this order and go with
Oh,
library.
Get rid of some.
Orange is the library director. And I include, this is Orange first time through this.
Probably stated it.
So, that's about what I know. That's what I'm doing. So, is there any part of really looking at where we were, where we're going, and for the most part, seems, from my perspective, that the things that what we've been doing is adding in actual halfway, that I'm able to tell you where things cost and how that matters to a library operation. So,
Okay, the first question is, what is the best wages? Is you have full-time and part-time, how many full-time and part-time?
we're functioning more on part-time employees. We have one full-time employee. So now what we're trying to do is full-time employees. So that way our coverage and investment is there. The part-time employees it has been stable for a while. And when we advertise for part-time, for example, we do not have the responses in our outreach tools, but full-time, our people want part-time and train and make
So the reduction in cost of full-time is because this is.
two part-time becomes one, and, work the minimum wage for a while, now we're at minimum wage, we have to switch so that now we're at minimum wage, but there is incentive for a little bit more, when the library credentials have people much less not have. So, the state offers credentialing that we, that way, depending on what kind of experience you have, shape of it. So, this ultimately then
What is the, and the police library?
Yeah, just under 15 is minimum wage.
like intensify a little bit, so that was eventually and feel like they have
What are you buying this year?
so the question is our equipment. And we have the, we have our software that we pay for annually, and that's the only request that's here is the annual software for the, equipment purchase. There is much to purchase, especially at some point we will put in digital equipment line items for our library. They're not to where we should be for online or digital. Have some public computers struggling right now with our Wi-Fi, so we definitely need some scanning and there. So, in our budget, then in our budget that we're actually, and right now we're getting our yearly equipment maintenance.
You're buying the hardware or you're buying the license software?
We're buying a license software.
Version license or?
Now it's yearly.
Okay.
And it keeps going up just slightly every year.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
To clarify what the expense is.
Yep.
What the expense.
And it's a web-based program that they use for.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
The hardware, the software,
Yeah.
software, home is the license, that has to be, you don't know the license.
So software, license, hardware, and they're out.
Those scanners would be the hardware.
The computers themselves are under the capital budget, yes. But like the specific stuff, the scanners, scan the book barcodes and the shelf reading, that is this part of the budget.
Scanners are OCR.
You're out for 8.
No, OCR, officer care, you can read the pages of the book from the.
Different,
Different scanners. We actually have one of those as well, but that's our old scanners that are becoming old are the ones that we the barcodes.
Very important, the library.
Yes. Yeah, we're not. Curious.
Couple items, there's 50% from so far this year. You're asking for a raise.
Yes.
And also program.
Yes, because we still are last month, then our first summer review get in that some residents show up in numbers that don't happen during the academic year. Right now, during our program, days, 5 us actually Correct.
correct?
Yeah, and so if you break it down per month, and per day, what we did in next month, our, we can. Well, we're open 10 to 5, during 4 more hours, 8 hours on Saturday. Saturdays, so the total hours,
35 hours
35?
during the regular week and,
so 8 more.
so not 35. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
It's over, right, when we have a full-time employee for 40 hours, for example, with the higher work week, we have to give them an afternoon off if they work on Saturday. We are in operation. It's really good.
they go in and start the workday at 8 o'clock at their full time, just to catch up on things. I was over at the library for several months this year.
The hours per week. 24 hours a week.
You have to have at least one person upstairs and downstairs at all times. Then you're covering lunches as well. And then sometimes you want to have 2 people both upstairs and downstairs during busy time, summer reading program and things like that. So this is just giving you enough coverage. Yeah, and everybody, the full-time people have vacation times they get to take, people get sick, so they're out. Right now, she's down 2 people, and it's, they're struggling to have the coverage. No,
We are not, we have, a little bit more time than the library actually open for planning.
cleaning, so,
Yeah. And, we are coming going, it can get so busy that you lost work. So that 8 to 10 for those full, just full-time employees, our clerk, you're working, don't get a time to go. 3, 4, 5, so it's not.
Okay, so the employees are working longer hours than so,
Just the full-time employees.
yes, but not all of those.
Right, so the exactly.
Lauren does not know the following, she's about to learn maybe not known. We have 2 counselors who are quite interested in the library becoming full-time. One of the other things that may not be known to all of you is that legislature caused part-time employees to earn vacation time, sick time, etc. A lot of part-time employees did nothing like that very recently. Now that's state law. They in fairness to everybody, that increases the cost. Now, Lauren, I know back several years ago, you increased the authority for. Now, is that going to be put out for you?
It will be good enough to maintain, books are more expensive. It takes about 1,000 books, per year, which is not very much. When we go to a little bit more in the digital infrastructure, then that's another topic, but the books, yeah, we can turn that down. And for that. Those books are other projects. But the regular thing for books averaging about 1,000. month, which, the average was $10. It's not happening. That's what we're doing.
I hope you get better prices than we do. Price wise.
Yeah, well, it varies, right? The children's books are cheaper, but they don't last as long. Adult books, we recommend. Are that we have to replace one.
You find a lot of books.
Lately, they've been much better than they have been, and that's because we gave everybody a little bit of grace back from COVID. And then, then the letter came out. Not always on time, don't charge safety, but we got to do it. And we're just out. For the most part, they're okay. It's okay.
And the libraries are very much. I do like it. Any other questions? No. Take a vote. Those in favor of the budget as specific? The vote. Go back to schedule now. Yeah. Clerk?
Expect you all know, Ann.
We will discuss wages for this, you added one more staff member.
That one was staff number, the last 2 years. I struggle trying. Various things that, you get a person here. They think they're gonna love the job. What the job really entails is on fall. There. So we've done some, I get competitive to that and, at first, that's very, very well. So far, it's working. I've got to run that. 740 right now.
As a user, I have to do.
That's why you come back because of that.
Well, this is just a clarification. You look at the hourly rate.
Those are their current rates they're getting as of today. From last year. Right, but this is what they're being paid. Correct. Correct.
So for someone who's went from down into the up, how are you doing?
Last year, last fiscal year, I had budgeted primary. My also so I do think that. But I only have
Hospital, it is on total. Hospital, we know that's the, start with the, hospital that we can improve budgets. At one, some point, in time, so when the council, union contracts are, council has made it clear that they want this year's increase to run you up to the cost of living, merit pay, right? So no cost, no cost. Good point. I mean, you can disagree with that. You can't, council, that is the kind of what I've seen the council. Primarily means. Try to, look at the future, understand.
You have a half time living there last year.
Yeah, I think I had half time last year. Marcy's full time, but I get Marcy for the 2 hours.
So, personally, if you.
Last year, she had 24 hours in there for a person. That was this year.
Like, there's parts that we can print from this copier. We're trying to get the state system. But once we get out of the state system, in a secure receiver. Well, we have to do our own thing, keep it all electronic. Especially. The library system is valuable to the state. What we have here, the system is unnecessary.
All for, I think.
After we call it had just, well, it's pretty much travel.
Portland. That's people, yeah. Unless they're in town for another vault door, we have to pay for mileage.
That's what the problem is. Sometimes it's all in, sometimes it can be a person.
Everybody in favor?
Yeah, we have it on the capital line.
Okay,
I have one. Doesn't have anything.
So the plan starting to.
It is up and running all winter this winter. It was awesome.
It was so great. I'll have my story. So, thank you. I'm over.
Yeah, we did save quite a bit, getting this back when we get the utility budget.
There's two capital lines, one for the equipment. Pretty much every year, every other year, like a little bit of money. For the equipment is replace some of our largest things. Last year was. With that election. Regular inspection, would be helpful. Fine for them. Each of the so four is on my team. Some people, old people that totally over time. After registration. Some sort of processes. And I just look back, they look. When I first became clerk, I had very long, still be whittling that down. I just sent the link to the fish, and I got the full last year. But I actually see that. And now I go back to all the time. How much that will cost. So it might be one of those. Thank you. All the digitizing, I don't know if those, all the digitizing have to be work, so depending on how you digitize it now, if that technology holds up, what are you gonna do with it? You still have the technology. You have to access those, or you have to. So, I'll take a little bit of my end, how that will work.
oh, I think the journal records or historical records. You have no problem with mobile?
Right now, one of our scanners, I'm talking about our $2 budget. And so that's this endless land of digital that you see. you to stand and there was some documents that ran out. Were bulky at one point.
Those were down records that got put in the vault down in the library.
Yeah.
And they're in our vault now, and they smell still.
And they still.
So the records nowadays.
Correct. So yeah, I should say, the booklet that I have, is only, they don't have it, we just have it. So I'm kind of working, I kind of probably should be looking at it. They don't. Now I'm starting to get the book back. We will probably.
Last year, we did these.
So I still don't have it. So I don't see that. So, yeah, but it was a bigger book. This one had it 5 years in it. That is, I prefer not to send that book far. I should accompany on a full time. They have very good customer service, the law that is as told in my book. The customer comes with a copy to a book, we have a number that we call, they email me a copy of that, that goes back from. I don't know exactly. It's expensive, right?
What we are doing is what pretty much every municipality faces.
Record
When you transfer a record,
Here, not allowed to help.
digital copy.
Right, so that I submitted it on, but my direction from the office is to keep their municipality and not even on what that. They might have record office, maybe that, but they would have to work that. Here we don't have that option. We have to
All email is certain degrees of secure, all email.
Nothing electronic. Regardless of what anybody says. People that have a computer,
that even if we had digitized records, if somebody calls on Texas, and you have our records, they would have to put email. Email them a record. That's fine.
what do? You print it and make.
That's been put on that security paper bag once there's. And that's.
Well, it's also not been a certified copy of a record, is it? And that's what you have to have. here then, okay.
Any other questions? Running out of here for you, right? Are you okay with this? Okay. Well, first thing we won't get, but we don't agree with it.
Unless you want to bring up the evaluation.
We have to say it somehow, because,
A couple months ago, I asked the town council commission to, give you an idea on what the evaluation of the town was going to be. And, the reason the town living has not had a town-wide evaluation. Really the in-house evaluation, but, like, by, somewhat by COVID, by current, like, housing, current cost of build a house, there exists too many equities to be set in the town. You have houses that are valued at pre-COVID prices at $125 per square foot. Now new construction is up to 25. So when you value a house today, then the future is one that's built 4 or 5 years ago. And people are always looking for a valuation online to make sure they're consistent with other people's house. Another thing that is very relevant is that we can look at selling prices and statistically go by similar components, we look at the average prices, we look at mathematical equations to apply to houses. I can tell you right now that I can go and find right now, it's anywhere from 6 to 8 ranch style homes, freeways, 2-car attached garages, varying price. I'm not talking condition or interior components on the house. From 180,000 to 200. Okay. With that level of interest out there, I think it's time that updating all property records, up to date. So my recommendation is to put away funds to, because revaluations right now are being requested by pretty much, I would say 70% of the time. And booked out for till 2026 and starting. Benefits the town in a lot of ways because we like to catch all. We like to make sure that all the costs are accurate. But it's very safe to say that we don't catch all the building improvements. There's a lot of them are inside, like upgrading plumbing, upgrading heating, things like that, that contribute to the value of the house. Those aren't really seen, and if they don't follow the building way, we don't get notification. There was a time period where we had a significant amount of houses and structures being built that we were unaware of. Code enforcement officers stretched so thin that we tired of trying to get the permit. So anyway, we discovered this just a late. And I will say, not wasted time. But it's something that needs to be addressed because I think there's more like septic systems, buildings, because we're so fast, because we're so thorough. And a lot of people on this lake buying them and subdivisions. But I think we can hire a company, everybody at the same time, and everybody got the, back in the seventies and nineties, good, well, good now for.
Something like that, lowering the bill.
Usually that is the end result. Usually you pick up enough value that you recoup some of the cost of what you take for valuation. I think equalize it.
Bottom line, we find that out, it's talking about, you find out. How much money we spend.
A
Not
lot
so
of,
much property value.
absolutely, a lot of people think that their taxes are value driven, they're not, they're budget. Because you take that total valuation of the town and you divide it into what you need to run the town, the budget of the town. For instance, last year, we purposely, because we thought it came out at 95% assessment ratio, didn't raise the value even though we keep trying to count. Because inflation hit bad enough. When you raise the value, the property tax stabilization program that is going on, and then you add on top of that, your inflation that's occurring, very hard to explain all those variables. So we decided to do something last year, we hold off the increase in the value till this year, and addressing this year, we're hoping that we adjusted the budget last year, so it's not gonna be such a dramatic. But the statistics right now, not if we are assessing right now, 70% of the value across the board. Yeah. But, like you said, there's no added expense to this budget, exactly the same as last year, the mill rate was down to. So you're paying.
What's gonna be on over next? So let's say we're gonna do the valuation now. Turn the department and say, well, we get the average, we're on a little cabinet. Say, well, it's not building.
I'm not,
That's our job.
yeah, that's, I am just talking value from the assessment standpoint, and I am telling you how the mill rate is divided. I'm not going to tell you on, that this is gonna result in department managers over inflating the budget. I'm just speaking specifically on the town value. The initial estimates, this includes entering, digitizing everything, computer sketches, actually having the property records connected to, available online, the tax map, $410,000.
That is right now available in 2026.
They're booked out for 2026, 2027 will be the first year of December. We will go up to bid, Sheldon. Yes, we'll definitely go up to competitive bid, and of course, my hope is we did it after that, but we'll have to see.
What is something?
Equitable assessments, and yet, pretty much guarantee that all properties are listed appropriately. And, it's like you're creating your base to move forward.
We have buildings that have been built. Possible to say, without them, those, we don't even know what it is. Either way, you won't always get pushed. Oh, this is going to be rolling. But the concept is, town needs so much money. How do we collect that money? Property value is not going to live. It doesn't matter what the mill rate of the property value is. How much money you need. So if you go ahead and spend $500,000, increase the property value, decrease the mill rate. We gain fairness because the longer we go between retails, the further off what I will call equitable fairness one property owner to another is a loss. But the other piece of property that's sold, you've been on the books. It sounds good. It comes back and.
No. I cannot get that referred to by state law as chasing sale. I can do that and adjust every single property value, those range out homes that vary from 320 to 180. They would all be assessed at those, and they're all the same. The idea is you study those statistics, you come up with a mathematical formula, maybe the average value comes out with that formula of 270. 180 probably had special consideration when it's sold, maybe it was estate sale, maybe there was something there. It just brings everybody up to one eye, so they're all listed properly, valued in the same methodical, mathematical measure, so everybody. So you don't have one person that's penalized because they maybe had a bid on a house, and there was so few available, they went into a bidding. That happened during COVID a lot of times, where people would pay $40,000 over asking price. That doesn't, well, it does, if you said the fact that it sells for this amount, then you're going to bring that assessment forward on the tax roll, that's not how it happens. Yeah.
The bottom line is, how do you tell that? I was in the house. And all we're gonna do is, it's not what we want to do.
Because it would correct the issue of, say, it would correct the issue of somebody who built a house 3 years ago, and somebody who paid to build a house now at the current cost. If you go and assess, you can get a price index of appreciation. It's kind of like when you have an appraisal. Have you ever had an appraisal and the appraiser comes in and looks at the house and says this, that? You can't go by cost. You have to go by comparable sales. So the cost of what you put into that house, you're never going to get that. So we're, as assessors, kind of in the same boat, because it's like when new houses come on board and we're assessing them, part of what we're doing is buying mathematical costs. That isn't keeping up with the other houses that we valued several years ago. So one person's going to be paying more than they should be, the other one's going to be paying less than they should. What that does is ensure that the row is paying their share, one is paying their fair share, because all the properties are valued at the same time in the same formula. You don't have those discrepancies. This is a volatile market. This market is extremely volatile. I expected it to adjust and go back. I never thought I'd ever see an over $500,000 sale for a 600 square foot property. I don't know what I did.
What's still?
Yeah,
It is.
a little bit, but not right.
One of the other things that isn't evident to most people is that while the town does not file an income tax, what she does, what assessors do, is rated by the state revenue tax. And if we're in a range, we're in that range, we can get a loan. Once we're out of that range, back in telling us, get with the program. Now, we've been pretty good at
That's
that.
that's the 30% that you just.
Yeah.
And if I don't do that, then I'll figure out everything will just down 30%.
Well, that's fine. I think not to have to. No, but it hasn't made equity. It's one. Those who are paying lower tax, that's the act. Those who are paying higher tax. There are many that are technically off today. So they only magnifies how much they're off.
Every time you do this conference, you're choosing a approach. Okay? So adjustments that justified by your grading, by the big name coming in and looking at
what the assessments are, what the actual sales prices are. And they take that and they come up with what they call an average deviation, which means how far of a percentage are you off. If you off 30%, 40%, and that's what they base it on. We were off this time by 30%. This is why we have to come up with a little. If we left it that way, everyone's just education, subsidies, we have to keep this assessment. When you do that mandate approach, you're always adjusting somebody up. It shouldn't be. And you're always adjusting somebody up that probably should have been adjusted more. You can't determine that unless you go out and see every single property.
If I understand correctly, of course, the amount of money we have to raise and we have to pay to run the town is the same. But I think you mentioned it. It's a question of fairness to all the homeowners. Everybody is assessed on the same basis. Right now, we're not.
I understand where Mr. Perry is coming from. Ben just asked me to go with it. I mean, I talked about this 7 years ago.
And you even asked me about the 5 years.
Yeah, I know, and it's like, I understand the reason for the fine permits and all this, because it puts the town office on the work. And I don't wanna bring up past history, but if we do this today, who's to say 5, 10 years ago from now, that we're gonna be faced with this same dilemma, because the due diligence haven't been done to keep up with the evaluation on.
Can't answer that question, Sheldon, because I don't plan on answering it. But frankly, I didn't plan on being here this year because I was supposed to be in a position. And as you can see, the salary is not here because my salary is being paid through check because I have another job. I'm an economic development administrator. I'm also the passport facilities manager. I'm the addressing agent. And I'm also the ticket administrator. So to be realistic, that I would have the time to go out and see the nonprofits I can see.
And municipalities all over the state are doing this, and I tell you, on average, it's doing it well more quickly.
Absolutely.
That's why in the legislature, when you say every 10 years, the municipality, yeah, there's a gray area there, they don't say much. So that is a discrepancy, because the town will not on the.
And we're gonna service more for sure.
He's absolutely correct. And the thing about that, and I think there are small towns, like for instance, Woodville, stuff that they don't have any, they don't have any commercial, they've basically stayed pretty stagnant, but even these areas took an adjustment last market.
I agree, and I think it's something we must plan for, probably, start building the money to pay for it. Modern technology, from my experience, and my knowledge, can allow what you're concerned about, the maintenance. We can look for a company that will do it, and perhaps conversation. With the advent of the drone, a town can maintain the view of all the properties with very inexpensive drone photography.
They're actually being put together with
It's being done in other places. I have friends who want to put that as a business. So that would reduce the cost, and it can be done on a regular basis with maintenance once we do this initial cost. In my view, I think it's a must.
We have to keep mentioning it, way.
The only reason I brought it up now is that we see the benefit, and I can see the benefit of how much we decide all of this information. Much easier to pay, much easier to update. The other thing is the opportunity to wait a good money every year, so that's it.
We agree,
It probably should. And the thing is that, like, all councils, they're really conscious of their taxpayers. They want to make sure they're giving them the best budget they can possibly do. Wednesday.
I think it is important that in the budget request, if somebody in this time, well, when the time comes, have that money on hand, and it's not a one-time expense.
That's the only reason why I was bringing this information to you.
That's important.
And I've been in the process of why I was using $45,000.
So any other questions or comments?
It's not in, it's not in.
No, it's in the TIF budget. I moved that for economic development. The TIF budget, because that budget is prepared. I just get the draft approved by committee, and they've already made their recommendation. So I'll be seven.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else? That's a vote. You can have one vote. Okay.
Thank you all very much. That is
Thank
just,
you.
part of the information for the board.
Well, we'll get there on that.
No, it's always good. Always good to have a good discussion.
It was very, very clear. I think that's very understandable. So much.
Oh, if we have time, we can go hold mine in, because that's,
Oh, yeah. Mine's pretty simple.
Well, first of all, hold this one.
Okay.
I'll probably take a little.
Your vote is the slowest one. Yes. Okay.
Pretty much everything is the same, except for I did add mileage on there because I've taken over to the levels and I spend a lot more time between the dams, between the levels, between residents. Some of them take a lot more. So, a lot more mileage on it. I wouldn't take. That'd be great.
Where are they? The one, we have one former police car, or junk. Follow the federal liberty. I think it's a half cent somewhere there, but we don't like to do it.
Are you happy with having to use the vehicle and put the care aware and the mileage?
I have other trucks, so I'd rather take my truck and feel a lot safer with that. I think I'm gonna make it home with that.
So we may get offered one of them, depending on how it's going.
The question was, is does we go up to $4,000 a year? It's a question about. The people that get.
That's including fuels.
each department has a fuel line item that uses gasoline for their vehicles, this is just a reimbursement reimbursement for him to use his personal vehicle and gas.
I make it run.
That he does not have a gas card, and we're not going to enter into that territory either for personal vehicles to have a town gas card.
And then,
Correct, which is why we have it 65.
I worked hard to not have the, what I call take-home cars for any town employee. Now, headed for hiring, we violate that. However, not hiring that person in the world regarding that. And, you know, patrol officer who has person who is available, can take that car with her on occasion. Working regarding some particular animal, but fine. Not have take home. Police, fire, public works, and I think that's a question.
I know what, that's downside.
Now, every time there's a don't commit.
Or is it responsibility of the contract? They get in touch with me. Now, when it comes to that shed, lost on property, I don't know. Actually, it's wrong. As far as new construction, I will do property. And do electrical inspection.
that's the question of contract.
I, before they can move next stage, I have to go. I, yep, yep, absolutely. And also with septic, is generally three inspections with septic. From out. That one final inspection for once, C on. That all has to be documented.
for revenue numbers.
For permitting,
Yeah, what you see.
so last year, the lead was right around 4,000, but actually 42, like the year before that was over 44. There was quite a ramp up with COVID. So, moving that home development on that side of lakes. A lot of people realize they can work remote, so why not work on lake? Basically, your budget off.
At that point. For sure. That is kudos.
Now, does that revenue go to the general fund or goes directly to some of this stuff?
So what happens with revenue is it really does go to the general fund, but if you look at the cover sheet for each of the, department budgets, I've been working on the revenue, so it's not in here currently. It tells you pretty much how much we have to raise for each department, because it'll be their expenses minus their revenues, net to raise for that department. That's just a good thing to know, but it does all go back into the general fund. It's not, you know, if he raises $5,000 more in revenues for his department than we anticipated, it's not like his department gets an extra $5,000 to spend.
No, I
It goes into that unassigned. Probably 10 years ago, the town manager wanted it broken down by department so we could kind of see that. So once I get these revenue numbers done, this will be reprinted and then you guys can see that cost per, yeah. And yes, wage department is pretty even between revenue and expense.
so that is.
Correct.
There's no,
Correct.
last year's, coming year is not in yet.
This is the 6% from last year's 2024 budget. Did it, did you get any certification for anything last year? We've had so many different,
I didn't get any phone.
yeah, the 6%.
Nothing dry. Anybody have any other questions or?
That's good. I'm gonna stick around.
Just one as a user, we're in agreement?
And
Oh, in capital?
Yeah.
No, he took it out. Nobody put anything in there. Would you like to add something into it?
But one of the problems with having that is that we, we're putting money there and not actually using it. We're not successfully making decisions on what we will do and when we will do it.
yeah, I'm gonna bring that up. But our engineers did report, one of the dams, I'm still waiting on their report. They're supposed to be report on all dams, the higher level for repairs. What would, once I get that report. It's the number one. Actually, you guys said you were 2 years ago. Yeah, I can't speak in behalf of that. I just took over last summer. I took over. I apologize. We've got a lot of rain. So I feel like that was my fault. But from what I have seen on the dams, upper pond, that right there has a very large level of that failed. That's entirely that one. With concrete, the concrete's failing. This one I was able to tell a lot more. We probably cracks, the concrete, the water. It's just going to be a matter of time. I know what you're saying with the stump pond. A lot of that is cosmetic, boards and everything. The grading system on top, the metal does need to be compressed. But a lot of that in visiting with people, they're the ones that kind of point all this stuff out with a lot of the boards. Yes, that's cosmetic. But as far as concrete addition, as opposed to the concrete. Yeah. See. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we'll just get to
And,
so actual.
and whatever is left over in this year's, the current year's capital, will be put into a reserve fund for reserve account for the dam. So this 256 from this current year isn't used, we'll put it into a reserve account, because it does have that to spend as well.
Yeah. So just for
The
that.
council will approve that at council. It'll be put to them at the last council meeting, yes.
And just with the failure with that offer, right? Most of you guys probably saw or heard with letting go.
still the primary structure there.
Right, right, and that's just, that was the failure of the gate. We go up on Egg Pond and the concrete fails on that. We wouldn't have much more than $200,000, so maybe repairs, saving that lake. That lake, all the taxpayers we have up on that lake, they're not gonna be so happy, so obviously they're gonna want their investments. It's not a very big one, but it's rough shape. No, it's smaller, it's a little bit smaller than that. There's one, because you gotta have the divers up there, you can showing them around the water. Yep, so they'll have to put, just like what they did over here, they put, 5 or 3 yard bags in water, and then they use another, like, plastic wrap. And they do everything in water. Once you have to hold that, then they can actually do that area. No, the divers would be crucial, getting everything secured properly to be able to work in that area. If we could get that area. No, we can't. Yeah, I don't even think you can get the crane in there. That's short. The only thing that we can do is 5 yard bags. Right. You know, barge. It's all cost. It's all cost.
What possibilities there to get into work from the Army Corps of Engineers? All the waterways.
Yeah, I don't know. I've only been doing it for the last
I know.
10 years, so I'm learning.
I wasn't the Army for 31 years, and it was interesting how questions were asked, but okay, I think it'd be worth taking
Yep.
if we can get some support from the Army Corps of Engineers, and B, I used to be commander of the, construction engineer unit in Waterville. I think we still have some construction engineers in the state, and the reserve of the National Guard lives by something called training opportunity. So we contact the unit and we understand what the problem is. They will gain a lot, and so will we.
There's also a advisory thing.
Yeah, there's, I think, we're looking around, but there's still something around, but I think it's worth it, that we won't follow up with the Army Corps, and then with the National Guard, we make it some, whatever we get, they will be plus one. We have an opportunity.
Have you done this before, Steve? Now, we make recommendations to the council, so they can take it and that will go. Work on the project.
You're right about that. We have been postponing this, none of them are getting better, and, I think all of them have actions.
I just need 10%.
We can get this report from the other one, I would be glad. For the council myself.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Let's roll the one.
Yeah. Although, a lot of labor on the side,
Walking value.
that's probably well paid.
So I'll put the comments about.
So it's very urgent. Hey, there's designation, there's time factor, and there's point of no return. Something breaks. Okay, so we're talking the same thing.
Like on, I was supposed to have it a month ago.
Yes. What we call that's not fire.
Oh, I know Peter very well, so.
Anything else? No other item?
I think we'll maybe try one of Melissa's.
If we do some of mine, we don't have to have the last meeting earlier in the timeline.
Get it up and done.
Yeah, so if we fit me
Thank
in,
you.
since I'm here every night anyway, so we want to start with finance.
Okay.
Yeah, and you
That's what I was looking.
I did. I should have taken them up last year, but I didn't know they were gonna have that January increase. I'm cutting it close right now with postage. So I put just 500 in there. I probably should put a little bit more, but I'm trying to convince, some departments that, like Lauren said, they send letters for late books. I'm trying to convince them to try and make a few phone calls first. Yes, yes. So I do get a discounted rate, like a penny and a half off of, yeah.
So first class.
Yes. And we do get a discounted rate when we send the tax bills. We use, I can't think of the name of the company, but they print, stuff the envelope and mail them for us, and they get a discounted rate as well because they're bulk mailing. Yeah, yeah.
So that we're getting the current rate on the discount rather than buy $2,000 of forever stamps.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, the amount of man hours it takes to do those tax bills, they have machinery that stuffs the envelopes, we do not. And we do save on postage with them as well, so that helps.
I have one question, one. Look at the overall summary. Budget. Last year, fiscal 24.
Okay,
What I received last year after the council budget had a draft section. Said the council approved spending.
I've got my last report. 9,781,43 dollars. That does not include the county budget, but this is what they approved, 9,781,043. I don't know.
Well, you've got 5 counties in it.
That's 23. I don't know. That was still a draft. I'm wondering if, can you email that back to me and I'll look to see where the discrepancy is?
Yeah.
But they did approve the 9,781.
I had people.
Yeah, if you can send that back to me, I'll look to see. It could be something last minute that they cut out of the budget. Or it's possible, because they were making changes right at the end and taking more funds from the main PERS money and things like that. So it is possible there was some change made last minute. That could have been just prior to them approving that. But yes, if you, perfect. If I double check my numbers and I had, at the time I had the part-time person that I had, she was actually inputting it
Don't get too.
Yes, if you could point those out as you get there, because I am seeing a few, like Rick's rent line item didn't add up right. So that's what this whole process is to find these errors and make sure they don't go forward. Unfortunately, I don't get a lot of time with this before I actually print it and send it out to you folks.
Cemetery park. Personnel. Okay, we'll go.
Yeah.
We'll come in.
Yeah, when we get to those, if you can just point those out and, we'll look at that. On finance. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so 2 months ago. So we have had a hard time, as many other municipalities, keeping up with getting the audits done in a timely manner. We were cruising right along, catching up, and then the person doing our audits with our audit firm left to go to a school district. So then the brakes got put on again, and just before Christmas, we had gotten the new person all of the information, but we knew they weren't going to be starting again until this month because they also do these taxes. The interim police chief is actually the town manager in Beasley. They said our audits have been going much better. We've got this firm called Very Done. They're doing all this pre-audit work for us. So once the auditor gets it, it's just a matter of weeks instead of months to get these audits done. So the council approved us contracting with Very Done. It's been going great. Yeah. So actually next Tuesday, Very Done is going to be presenting all of the current ones to Wadman and Associates. So this extra fee in the audit is for Very Done to do all this pre-audit work and get it ready for the audit. Yeah.
The idea of pre-audit was new. This town had an auditor from back earlier.
About at least 10 years in a
It's
row.
not, in my view, actually an audit. And if other municipalities that do it, not those places see. So I advocated to change to real auditor, and but I requested proposals, we ended up with Wadman. As Melissa said, Wadman lost the person that they had assigned to us. It becomes a specific relationship, and an auditor gets to know a municipality and what they're doing and how it flows, that sort of thing. And Wadman lost that person, and Wadman is small enough to do tax. Not have enough additional people. Then I heard of this procedure, pre-audit, and I would have thought Very Done would be up doing it audit name, but they don't. Come on. Hey, time to move this audit. How do they do these pre-audits? And it amounts to an audit, but then the one who's going to stamp it, say, I, the auditor, says it's okay. Then in behind them, and you get the finished. They are 2 years behind. That's not good. But I think the system we have now will get us reasonably soon up to date. And we now have Wadman and Very Done talking to each other. And so that's good that communication is happening. So I think we will make progress. However, we never had a cost for pre-audit. Now we just. Is this a one-time cost or 3 years is done, 3 years audit?
It's a contract with them not to exceed, correct?
Correct. Not to exceed 3 years. Whether we contact after that time or not, I don't know.
maintenance of having.
Yes, but it is, they are very,
That's the thing.
And I can say relative on the order of sizing the budget. Um,
When you say it's a three-year contract, I know it's confusing. This is not $8,000 a year. It's 3 years, so yeah. Those should get done. in this budget.
They will, those are 3 years out.
yes, and then it will be,
That's a,
yes,
that's still for 3 years of off.
3 years worth of work.
On the annual budget side, it's $2,000 a year.
I have a,
$9,200.
I have a bill sitting to get paid tomorrow. I believe it's 15, so we're gonna go over, this is the very, part of the very done.
So you're actually got 50 plus 9,000. Wow.
No, I've already got 3 people every single week I meet with, by Zoom. Every single week it's the same 3 people, but,
And those were,
yeah,
And I would say to them, why don't you just be our auditor? They made it very plain. Not who is what. So,
no, because we do have the 3 audits we are gonna have to pay for James Wadman. We're just doing an estimate on what we think it's gonna cost to finish paying for all of this. Most of the expense is going to be after we get here. We can reduce it if Wadman comes in and finishes one of these and we pay for it this fiscal year. We can, at that point, reduce.
I think quite likely happen.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee it. So the goal here is 50,000 plus 9. which is caught up to
Correct. Correct.
Wadman is going to contact the third year.
Yes.
And we don't get to do that.
We're behind. We can't do the current one until we get the older ones done.
Right, but once the older ones are done.
Correct.
Contract is 15,000.
No, half of that. So we still have to pay Wadman and Barry Dunn.
Mhm.
So we have just done an estimate on what we're gonna pay for the audits. Or at least, yes.
Okay, total is 56,000.
And we're hoping that will cover it.
9,000.
Correct. Yes. Yep.
The reason I say this, we're not careful, 9,000 falls in. But we get what we need.
Now, those are, insurance, now, is that this health insurance?
No, that is,
Workers' comp?
no, this is nothing to do with either of those. Those are both in the personnel budget. This is insurance for the town, liability, vehicle, buildings, all of that. Faithful service of, the police officers, your ambulance insurance, for your employees that work on the ambulance, your, I don't think it's medical malpractice, but it is a type of,
It's a form of malpractice. They're not licensed to provide medicine because of doctors. However, within state law, are licensed. So the increase is natural increase because of cost of insurance.
correct, correct,
Actually, on workers' comp, they're getting.
yeah,
I understand.
yeah, workers' comp.
So inflation has been.
year, to be honest with you, I didn't budget that money for the insurance. Our insurance this current year, I've got the second half, I'm gonna send out as well this week, was 82,000. So last year I only budgeted 70 something. Didn't anticipate quite the increase that we got. We never can tell.
But eventually you're gonna spend them, you're gonna spend very.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I got a bill for 41 sitting there.
Now, how often do we go with other companies? I know a few years back. we checked it out.
Yeah.
6 months.
Municipal, well, because we went with main municipal. Municipal insurance is very hard to get. I think Rick will agree, most municipalities go through main municipal. It's just a hard thing to get covered.
They understand us better than most, what I'll call commercial insurance. I was in Davidville, we did that. MMA and private insurance company through the whole thing for months. And when we had done, MMA, the private insurance company.
They also, when we get new vehicles, we're adding a vehicle like the police cruisers. We have more police officers, we need more police cruisers. If we add one mid-year, they don't charge us for that vehicle for the rest of that year. They just, they eat that cost. Of course, we see it the next year, which is why we get the huge increases. But, you know, any new equipment, any new buildings, things like that, they're very kind to us and they don't charge us the half-year fee for the vehicle to insure. Dennis rents once a year a backhoe for a few months every summer. They don't charge us a premium for that either.
How many claims do we have?
Current claims, we have one. And that is,
That's a factor of
yeah,
how insurance goes up.
yeah. We've done very well, I'd say, in at least the last 5 years. Even the current claim we have is not a town of Lincoln issue. It was a driver hit the light pole.
Yeah, the article that wasn't great.
Yes, and the same with the ones we had for the light poles on Main Street that got struck. We had 3 of them within a month. Those were not against us, those were against the drivers. Yeah. We only had one claim. And it wasn't, I don't believe we were at fault. The freezing of
Yes.
the fire truck. So our fault was not,
The risk down to zero.
yes.
Now, not the off topic now, how do you see them?
When you file the formal claim.
The bill, yeah.
Document engineers, you know, we are, what the costs are, I, fall down condition of what it costs, replace that. And so main DOT is standard, we can't directly replace it. And so the whole foundation is there, so it's got that good foundation. Foundation in without geo engineer coming and telling the soils support all of this. It's $201,000 a Fraser technology.
Okay, being that the case, the person responsible for the posture can go over.
So we
I
have,
can agree to have.
yep, so that has been submitted through our insurance for their insurance.
Right, because that's no problem.
Right.
Now, if that doesn't happen.
That is one I made, there was a suggestion to take it down, put a wooden bowl in place, because of the time that's going to take to get the new one. We decided the existing one's going to stay up to 2 inch windstorm. But eventually, it clearly got to be replaced. So we have avoided the cost of putting in the wooden bowl and then later holding it. And we're going to wait for this to come together. Schedules have to be made. I will discuss with you after this meeting. Well, if the phone call is done for the airport, motor brake.
I don't know who you're going to get unless you hire somebody in-house. That's gonna be close enough to where we have an issue at that front counter and they're here within 5 minutes.
Oh, I see. We only have one.
So
Get through.
I have not had the opportunity to call Motor Brand over here, that there was an issue that was not, I haven't been told anything about the issue now. And I'm the one that contacts them. I know exactly what the issue is. As long as it's not our issue here, then I can get them over here to look at that. They installed this. So, yeah. Yeah.
That should not be that way.
But I'm not sure it's a technical issue or something's just not flipped on the way it should be on.
I've heard some comments, so
Yeah,
I'm not gonna. quote
Yeah,
the comments.
like I said, I don't know.
Folks have got some ideas on what's going on.
Well, because we're streaming this right now. I don't have it on the screen here because this is a budget committee meeting and not an interactive.
It's the external.
Yeah.
They have calls.
Yeah.
And if you have people on Zoom trying to call in remotely.
Yeah.
they can see that thing.
And when was the last one that you guys had? Did you have the microphone?
Last week.
Last when?
Last week.
Oh, and I don't know. Yeah. I'll talk to Ruth tomorrow and see what the issue was. Try to mention it to Amanda, who was now giving her notice and leaving.
Bringing up that one up last week. Not going out.
Yeah, and
It's just not really financially.
And I think the closest place you're going to find a tech support for us is either you're gonna hire a person or a person and a half, or you're gonna go to Bangor and get somebody from Bangor that's gonna have to travel. Yeah. And then we're also going to have to buy equipment because right now we're leasing space on one of their servers. And we're tied to motor brake, we're tethered by dark fiber. So there's gonna, if we do change, there's gonna be a lot of expense, at least that first year, to make that change.
Buying rent from there.
Correct.
We don't have our own server.
Correct. We haven't had our own server in years, probably 15 years now. We haven't had our own server.
$7,000 a year.
And it's the maintenance that they do on the server because they have more than just us on those. So there is periodic maintenance that is constantly going on with these servers.
I would still have to be paid me.
Correct. Correct. And you would need somebody, with knowledge to do that.
All I'm saying is,
I think changing,
if my brand comes
yeah.
in and it's on site,
Yeah. I think we would want to do a longer term based on how much you would have to change if you change your tech support every 3 years would be, a tremendous,
What does the town actually?
we own the computers. And, Trio, the software we use for everything in here, they also host that for us because it's not a, either Trio was gonna host it or Motorbrain was gonna host it, and Motorbrain actually gave us about $100 a month less to host Trio than Trio was going to. They do our backups every evening, there's a backup done. Yep, yep, yes, yes.
I'm just gonna make the same comment.
Yep.
What the rain is, congratulations. Performance wise, I would say.
Well, now that I know that there was an issue, and I'll talk to Ruth about what it is. Well, she, like I said, she might have mentioned it to Amanda.
Who's gonna be the one?
Amanda.
Amanda and then, possibly, both perform.
Yeah.
Okay. So Amanda is 10 days. Sorry for that. Well, I wasn't having the days notified. So, that is made, I had another person, who's 2 days in. Didn't get her to the point she comes with. Just to go back to one point, the technical is largest finder. How much do we use it? How do we justify that cost?
So I don't keep track of hours. The police department currently, at least twice a week, they are over there. Their programs that they run, Spillman, program, which is the main state filing they have been going through a lot of changes lately and updates, and so Motorbrain is over there quite often. Actually, we now have Brittany just contacting them directly, to come over there. Because once Spillman updates, Spillman's not on our server, so it's not just one update to one computer that needs to be done, it's all of their computers that are running Spillman. Today, everybody gets phishing emails. You usually look at the email address it's coming from, and you know it's phishing. You just delete it. Today, we actually got one that spoofed one of our account emails, asking to change direct deposit information on their paycheck. We knew from the writing in the email that it wasn't, and we don't do anything by email. People think we do. We do not do any of that by email. So they're actually working on that for us right now. To see if it's internal or external. I think they just somehow figured out how to spoof the email. Yes, they actually came, we have a training day once a year, in the fall, and, one of the gentlemen that works over there, former Army, retired Army, and he came to our training and did cybersecurity and, state web and how to tell if someone's phishing and all of that.
The other thing would be, well, access, and no.
Yes, and we looked into that. Yeah, we did look into that. They gave me a quote on that. And it was a little more than we wanted to spend at the time. I want to say it was around $600 or $700 just for the program itself. But yes, he did suggest that the one that came over and did our training, that we test our employees by using it. Yes, whenever we renew our insurance, I have a questionnaire on all the separate areas, and cybersecurity is one of those. And,
Unfortunately, today, physical security is overcome by cyber.
yes,
So I think this is because it, this is, your system collapsed.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's reality.
And you-
I
yeah.
know another business where the dark wood shut down the business. And that was that. Regardless of the stores, the trucks, and they know we have. You know, it's very important. Yeah, so, no, I think this is very well spent.
so I can, if, you know, we can go out and, but then it does, we will have to invest in some infrastructure at that point. Yes, yes, especially if the place is down in Bangor that's doing the tech support for us, because we're gonna have something on site for a server, and, we'll have to refigure how everything is run, just like when we moved here.
How much do you think that would be?
They will actually, someone from Bangor
Yeah.
actually upgraded the hard drive to a lot of issues over there. Pointing that from. It was a lot of pain when they do. But that's why. We're going to be a show of the next program.
Yeah, because currently, I will go, you know, somebody can't get onto something, restart your computer. I don't have time to be that person for everybody all the time. I don't have time to get on the phone with somebody from Bangor to have them tell me what I need to do to this workstation to get it back up and running. That's what I'm saying. If you're looking to get away from motor brain, you're probably gonna have to have another person that works at the town office, maybe not their primary job, but their secondary job is gonna have to be avoiding those rides from Bangor and the charges from Bangor to here.
Something that's zero sum game, you still have to have support from motor brain or somebody like them.
Right.
This, of course, you talk to us about. But once we buy all the infrastructure, we
Correct, and you have that.
constant changes, it's gonna be able to pull, one part, basically otherwise, it's absolutely.
And for us at the moment, we are fortunate that motor brain is across the street. So, we really need.
And we're running some pretty old technology, especially over in the clerk's office. She told you about the typewriter. We also have dot matrix printers over there that we use for some of the state forms that they give us. Carbon copy. So,
That's just.
yeah, and keeping
We're
those,
not behind. the curve.
yeah. And every time our computers want to do an update over there at the counter, two of them lose the ability to connect to the dot matrix printers, because the updates are phasing out that driver for that dot matrix printer. So, currently, now I know how to do that. So if they know they're getting an update on that computer, all I do is I get on there for, you know, a couple minutes on each computer and get it done. But if I'm on vacation or something like that, those guys over there get called to come in and do that.
clarification.
Any other items? Well,
Do we want to move on to another small one, or do you want to, debt service? That's an easy one. Debt service, we can't do much with it, and we'll be done with another budget. And actually, I have one drop off, so I feel good about this budget. Yes, that's why, this one I feel good about, that's why I wanted to go on to it. We'll end on a happy note.
I know. Okay.
Yeah, but that's not my debt service. These are current ones, and we've got one paid off, so. And the public works garage will be paid off, and 3 more budget cycles, and that's a big one. It is like the sheet, just flip back. We're at 0.65.
Road construction, 198,000, is that the?
That is the bond we took out for 0.5. That's the original bond on that. 2.5 million. That's the one that we're using to boost our road construction budget every year, because he was usually doing about 300,000 to 400,000, and he's got like 900,000 this year currently. That was 2 years ago the council voted to do that, so we could get some major catch up that was on the road. The roads were deteriorating faster than they could repay.
These relate TBA.
That is the breathing apparatus for the fire department. We took out a loan to purchase large amounts instead of, they were piecemealing things here and there, so the council voted to buy all new gear for the fire department.
School, I don't know, tell school.
No.
The U is not as underwater, other than that, it's really no different.
They have no capacity.
Yes. How much we want?
That's why I said it'll be an easy one.
But not.
Okay. So if there are no comments or questions? Okay. One more.
Ah,
I want to make a couple of comments about the number one. I appreciate your trust of Sheldon. Offer that I share this with most of you don't know me. Sheldon did this, number Sheldon called out. I did the audit for the purchasing, purchases in the budget. $50 million, like, I think I inherited something